And welcome back to the T-Mobile Analyst Desk here live from ESL One in New York City, the glorious Manhattan Island on your screen right now, the fantastic Freedom Tower in the foreground, all the usual places, the sights, the sounds, the smells, they're all here. Talking of which, we also have 4 panellists with us this afternoon to bring you all the expert analysis. Seb, I'm going to give you an opportunity to say what you just said because it was really good. I said that was all about the death prophet, and you said
that there was one death prophet and many dead prophets in that game. And that might be one of the problems of Vici Gaming.
Come on, guys. Come on, guys.
Nah, don't give me the upload.
No? Oh.
No, that...
Come in or something.
Oh, see?
No, I was trying to outthink you.
In all seriousness, fabulous game by Na'Vi. That's more like, you know, the kind of Na'Vi that we would expect to see. And Dendi was just nuts.
Some of us predicted that.
Was crazy. I was going to say that. I was going to give you that.
I'm still going for my prediction, 2-1 for Vici.
Yep. Sherlock Flax actually got the lowdown on that last game.
But yeah, it was an all-around great performance by Na'Vi. Yep. I don't think any player on the team played that bad at all. On the contrary, they all played really well. We saw FNG.
Milady's kind of like, I don't know if I.
No, FNG redeeming himself
really
a lot.
Well.
FNG, like on the tree, and I mean, we saw the block in the top forest. That
was funny.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
crowd enjoyed that.
And Dendi, I mean, he played well, but it was just a product of how his team performed as well.
Ban score secured the mid lane for him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
And that's a difficult lane. Death Prophet versus Tiny Wisp. That's not easy.
The main last pick was really key.
I was going to ask you guys actually, were you surprised by that? Because we've seen Tiny Wisp do
super surprised.
Stupid damage in the early game and dominate games. And then I think actually Synderen said, Keeley in the commentary, the only time they really lose matches is when they don't do well in lane. And that pretty much panned out.
They could have had more assistance from Nature's Prophet.
Yeah, I don't feel like Black really... He didn't feel comfortable on the Nature's Prophet. We were talking about this up in the analyst lounge.
We've got a lounge now.
We now have that.
Yeah.
I tell you what, T-Mobile, they've really got the town. They've got a desk, we've got a lounge. What else have you got up there? A shower room? And
there's Red Bull. That's all I
There is a shower room.
Wow.
I haven't used it.
I'm missing out. I need to turn analyst.
No, but so Black on the Nature's Prophet, not the Dead Prophet.
Right.
He
was a dead prophet, though.
Yeah, but he didn't seem comfortable on it. It didn't seem as if it's a hero that he plays particularly much. He did some very basic mistakes, sort of like not carrying.
He didn't immediately TP'd out.
Yeah, he didn't really push down the outer tier 1 towers. It's of course difficult against the Treant Protector with the living armor. He didn't for the first 10 minutes didn't carry a TP scroll, something very basic and essential on Nature's Prophet. He wasn't really there to help out in a lot of the fights as well, and he did struggle a lot in the lane early on. That's not his fault. And he did a great job at catching up, but it was also at the cost of them losing the early game a lot, I feel.
We can just take a quick look back at some of the highlights, actually, of the game. Hopefully they're ready to go. Apparently not quite ready, so we'll...
But it's strange, because one of Black's strengths is his ability to split push. He played Morphling last game.
Yeah.
He split push fantastically.
Yeah, but the thing is that they second pick Prophet, and then they answered with Treant Protector. And the thing with Prophet is that you're going to TP once, you're not going to get the tower, right? Because your pushing power isn't that insane when you have power treats plus Treants. So you're going to make it midlife, and then you're going to come back. But versus Treant Protector, it doesn't work. Because by the time you come back, the tower is full health. So it's either you take it, or you know...
Do you think he should have gone Orchid, or should he have gone just, screw it, I don't want to fight, and Necrobook?
Yeah, I think Necrobook was way better, even to fight, because you don't want to go in anyway with Orchid. You're going to Orchid and get Yuled, slowed, whatever, dead. At least the Necro brings something to the equation. But in my opinion, this game was more about the Wisp and Tiny mid. I mean...
Okay, we're going to move on. We're not going to dwell on the past. Good news for VG, there's no replay for them to be shown how badly they played in that second game. So it's 1-1, it's all good, that's fine. It's a best of 1 now, and that makes obviously things a bit more difficult. What do you expect from the two sides going into this next draft phase? I mean, we've seen a bit of cards both sides, haven't we? We've seen a little bit, but have we seen it all?
I think Vici is just going to stick to their guns. I mean, they've been in this position before. They know what works. Their picks worked. It was just the playstyle that lagged a bit behind. The Panda, it's still a force to be reckoned with. I don't feel like Super could have done much else that game. They were really just struggling from not having burst. We saw Ice miss a few avalanches that he probably should have hit. Yep. That really just put the nail in the coffin for them, where they desperately needed those kills to happen, especially the one on Dendi on the bottom lane, where they paid with FY's life. So yeah, I think they just really need to execute better. There's nothing wrong with the strategy.
Are we going to see a ban on Death Prophet this time?
I think Death Prophet and Panda are the two key heroes. Like, Panda without a Death Prophet is probably going to go crazy, and then Death Prophet just seems to be ridiculous in either of these two teams.
I think the real question is, does Na'Vi feel like they can just keep on playing against Panda? Because I still feel it's the most lethal threat against Na'Vi right now, especially with how Na'Vi wants to fight, or if they are so keen on just eliminating Terrorblade in the first 2 bans.
How differently do you think that game would have gone if Black hadn't taken Nature's Prophet? I mean, if he'd taken a hero that was more his playstyle, do you think that would have changed it a lot?
I don't think it would have. To be honest,
It would have delayed it.
The main problem in that game was the Wisp and Tiny. On the laning phase and in the game. To be honest, FY played a really poor Wisp in my opinion. He's one of my favorite, if not my favorite support player. But his Wisp was out of position all the time, and that's something you never see on that player. His positioning is always top notch. But as Wisp, you usually want to stick to the Tiny, try to help him. But versus a full burst damage, you cannot afford to link the Tiny before they actually use the Brain Stab, they use the Gush and stuff like this. You're just gonna get one shot anyway. Better try to save the Tiny at the very last minute. That's something he never did. When you see Notail playing Wisp, he's gonna understand that if I go in right now, I'm gonna die. So better wait. And if Tiny dies, then Tiny dies. It's how the game is.
It's 2 players that doesn't necessarily have much synergy together, because ISSI normally plays that off lane. So him and FY, I mean, it's a fairly new lineup of the team as well. So they haven't necessarily practiced much together.
They've run this combo before, though.
Yeah, but I mean, again, it's not. They haven't run it a lot, and
to me, it really looked like they were really out of their comfort zone, and they put themselves in that position. It wasn't Na'Vi drafting them into a corner that they have to pick Tiny Wisp.
Yeah, that's the point, wasn't it? When we went through the drafts, they were pretty much, they picked what they wanted.
They decided to
dictated to them. They could have gone anyway. So when we go back into this third game, what do you think, Seb? Do you think Na'Vi just they've got that confidence, that kind of momentum from the last game? They can pretty much pick what they want.
I do hope that Na'Vi understands now that they need that pushing potential and that answer versus split push. It was what I was saying before the game. Yeah. They got the Treant Protector and they got the Death Prophet. Obviously, then they had a great game, so that helped. But still, they need a pushing potential. They need to force Vici to defend. In that game, they had to. Tiny and Wisp went into fighting a Treant Protector, Bane, and a Titan. You never want to do this early on, but they had to, because then it was just taking all towers. Yeah. So that's what Na'Vi need to do, and just stick to their playstyle.
What about VG Melanie? What would you be looking at for them this time round?
I'd just say straight ban Death Prophet and just be on the lookout for pushes. That was their only real big factor between game 1 and game 2. They had a way to take down towers.
There you go.
Okay, into draft. And
this is actually good for Na'Vi. We've seen Na'Vi having to ban the Bad Rider one of the games, and now Vici went with the Death Prophet ban the same way they did in game 1. No. So
Bad Rider's been banned all 3 games now as well, so no big surprise, I guess.
It's funny because Vici Gaming is first pick, and they decided to ban the Death Prophet, so they don't want it. Maybe they're gonna first pick the Panda once again, and this time there's no Death Prophet against it. So
because if they don't ban Skyra, they're gonna first pick Skyra.
That's Skyras is the one missing, actually. That's a good point.
I think Na'Vi is sincerely thinking about banning out the Panda instead of the Skywrath, and I think they'd be wise to do so.
Exactly, because if you
why
ban
don't
the Skyras,
they just not ban either and then give them Panda?
Give them one.
That's the best solution.
Good alternative.
Yes. Because if you ban the Skyras, then you pretty much set a Panda.
Well, you force them to take the other one as well.
Yes.
Because they can't then leave it open.
Yeah, you can't leave both.
No. So either pick it or they ban it.
Vici might decide, if you leave both, Vici just first picks Skyras and leave the Panda. So you're drafting a Panda versus one of the best counters against it.
Considering Na'Vi has never played a Panda, I say never.
They've got to take one.
They leave both. That could be a first pick Skyras.
Yeah.
That's it. So now, do Na'Vi want to pick the Panda or
just let it? Pick it.
They have to pick it, as they get Skyras plus Panda, and they have no answer for it.
Have we seen Denji play a
Pugna,
Panda?
dude.
There's Pugna's good.
Pugna owns Sky. It should be picked more often.
What I like to get versus Sky is just PA, man. Just one-shot that hero.
I'm still waiting for a Spectre.
Sky also like one-shot.
I'm still gonna start calling Spectre Harvey, by the way. Just out of, honor to
It's true, even opening with the Spectre pick right now, because we've seen the ban phase and how they go.
Exactly.
With all the agility bans that are already in place with the Faceless Void and the Terrorblade, picking the Spectre early on is not a problem for Na'Vi. They're still going to get, there's a ton of supports available.
That's a Brewmaster, they get it. Yeah. So that's,
Why are you calling Spectre Harvey? I'm confused.
You need to watch Suits.
Yes.
Oh,
okay.
Never seen it.
Clearly.
It's okay.
So there is still the Treant Protector they might want to get if they want it now, because it's very likely that Vici Gaming decide to ban it in the second ban phase. So if Na'Vi wants to grab that, it has to be now.
This pickup I like. Yeah. Now I'm just going to say it. I thought of this scenario. I just didn't say it.
There we go.
But the reason this is great is because if they don't get the Brewmaster on Vici Gaming, what they always do is pick up the Centaur Warrunner and just have him farm the Blink Dagger instead. These are their two go-to heroes for that initiating power.
And there's also one thing, is that Centaur plus Kairos is obviously a great combo.
Yeah.
So it's a great setup for Kairos Ultimate, and also Centaur versus Brewmaster split is really good, because whenever you're going to open on someone, you have to split instantly if you want to get the stun before the Centaur Ultimate does his work, which is just, allow your teammate to just run away.
It's also great for Skywrath.
Yeah,
like if you
it
can't
is.
keep him in place for Mystic Flare, it's insanely difficult.
Yeah, this is a takeaway pick rather than a
It is.
what we need pick.
But it's still great. Like, all the initiating
still
power
works.
is on Navi's end right now, and the best part about it is Centaur Warrunner can just initiate on behalf of the Panda and just make all the space in the world for him to actually just go in, clap, and get his ultimate off without having to fear instant disable or silence.
So coming from the ban phase, it was Vici having the upper hand with the first pick Kairos. Was really smart from Vici Gaming. And now with the Centaur second pick from Navi, I feel like it's more that Navi that's
That
leading
is such
the
a
draft
scare.
right now.
Brew and Centaur, I mean, that is just terrifying.
It's really terrifying when you're a Kairos support.
Yeah.
There's two guys jumping on you.
And the other thing is the Sand King Sandstorm isn't going to save him from Brew or Centaur. So
They needed the stun though. There's no way you can
Oh,
get
yeah,
away
yeah,
with
yeah,
more
yeah.
slows. I think Sand King's a fine pickup here. Nice AoE to complement.
And
Question is, why do you need to pick it this early? There is zero risk of Navi picking it up or even potentially banning it. I don't see them banning a Sand King just because he's not a big threat against the Centaur Warrunner. I mean, Epicenter, Centaur was just going to stand there and be like, what up?
I think when you pick Sand King, you don't show anything. Like you have
You don't show anything.
You can go very aggressive. You can roam. You can be really greedy. Just stay in the jungle, farm your dagger. It's really good with Kairos, so you don't draft yourself into a corner. And
causes problems for the other team to Rosh and stuff. They've got to Rosh with Epi.
Navi knows
that
nothing
threat.
right now. They don't know how they're going to lane. They can be anything, They can go aggressive, Vici. They could go defensive.
Vici just needed to make sure they had enough anti-push too, because that was one of their problems last game. They just could not stop the Death Prophet push. And with Sand King, with an early Blink Dagger, and FY usually picks it up very early, that's a big threat that even a Brewmaster or Centaur can die with.
Let me ask you a different question. Who do you think is going to play the Brewmaster? Dendy or Havost?
Could be funny.
Could be funny. Yeah, I was about to say, could be funny as well. Could be a position 1 Centaur.
Centaur,
They do
the
this a lot.
off-lane
Interesting.
Brew.
And go for just full aggression and just fight them. But
I'd
again,
like that. And even because you have these two major tanks, it's a hero that we know Dendy likes to play, but he doesn't really pick it up often just because the hero seems sort of weak at all times in the meta right now. But Queen of Pain,
I was about
it's a
to
hero
say.
that gets a lot of space right now with those two heroes. Because the Skywrath really wants to focus his silence on the Brewmaster, I feel like Dendy could potentially have a lot of room with that. Or the
It's a
Rinrunners
little
just
risky.
completely dominate the middle lane.
It's slightly risky. They could go, I don't know. They like Tinker a lot. Tinker plus Panda in 6.181, 6.182, not so much, but it's still an option.
Windrunner is a hero we've seen him play often as well.
I like the hero a lot.
Yeah.
You like Windrunner?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, she was very unpopular because of Faceless Void. Like, she would just die every time to Chronosphere because of the passive. But she's like good anti-push, a very skilled player, will have miraculous shackle shots that just straight win a team fight.
Right.
And she scales decently well since she's just constantly getting buffs or focus fire. So
And she can absolutely dominate her lane.
yeah.
In a one-on-one matchup, she's...
I mean, I'm a big fan. I'm just curious why you like her, because I thought she was no good at higher level games.
I think she's good. She's also requires a lot of finesse to pull off, and I always like seeing that. And on top of that, she is one of the few in heroes that has escape without like a pseudo blink,
Right.
like Queen of Pain Windrunner or Queen of Pain and Puck.
So now Navi have to reveal something to Vici. They don't have really another option. Okay, it's gonna be a Rubik, so pretty defensive support in my opinion. Not really good at going really aggressive early on. He needs levels, he needs XP. So we might be looking at a safe lane for Navi. He's great against Kairos, obviously, and also Sand King, but again, the two teams are not really revealing much. They're waiting really to play their cards, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more I'm sold on this Windrunner pick.
Are you?
It's gonna happen.
I mean, there's no Windrunner doesn't do that much here though.
I'll
it
bet you
doesn't,
my
yeah.
colorful pen that they'll pick up the Windrunner.
I got a question as well, just a
I
technical
would
question.
need to take that bet.
If Sand King starts channeling his ult,
Yeah.
can you steal it the moment he starts channeling it, or do you have to wait till he casts?
So you can see
You
it
can see it the
instantly.
moment he starts.
So now Vici has to decide whether they wanna. You still can't assess if it's a Pandamine or not. Bristleback.
It's strange how this has gone, isn't it? Because with Vici's first pick, you think, oh, okay, they're going to dictate this draft, and actually they're getting it dictated to them a little bit here.
Well, Bristleback,
It's a position 1 Bristleback, in my opinion.
they had to have a frontliner. If you don't have a frontliner, Brewmaster and Centaur will kill you without even using their ultimate.
That's true.
So you have to have someone up in front. I was thinking more Timbersaw because they have 2 strength heroes, but Bristleback also serves that same position. You need someone to get vision for the Skywrath and the Sand King so they can get their burst off. This was a necessary pick.
I think Bristol is a great pick because this is just going to be a fight of durability. They realize that the Brewmaster and the Centaur are 2 heroes. They can't just burst down with their combos. So by the end of it, it's all about who's standing after all the spells are used, and there's no better hero for this purpose than Bristleback.
Also, the Chinese, they really like the Bristleback versus Panda just because of the fact that the second spell from Bristleback is physical damage, so you just kill the Pandas during the ultimate. But it's, again, a double-edged sword because on the other way, the Panda, then the Bristleback is the best Cyclone target. So the Bristleback is going to be used as the whole fight. So you need a BKB as a Bristleback if you want to be effective versus Panda.
Well,
That's why
I think you've already done your job if
one.
you force them to split, though, because Drunken Haze doesn't do anything, neither does Drunken Brawler. So
Yeah, but you're going to be Cyclone, then do nothing in the fight. That's my
okay.
worry.
He's usually like way up in front, so that you're not going to focus the Bristle during Panda ult. That's just usually not an option. So if he's far up enough ahead, then Panda will have to split, and then he can't get any kills. So he's already done his job.
That's true. That's true.
A Moonrider. So
So it's a Panda mid. It has to be.
yeah.
Not sure about this pickup. Maybe they want some physical damage to be able to. Yeah, it's really hard to say.
It seems really greedy.
Yeah,
I feel
agree.
like
I don't like that pickup.
Vici Gaming was still in a position where they could go out and dominate the lanes depending on their last picks, and with the Nova, I think that really solidifies.
They could have
their
gone with
position.
something safe like a Razor. Right? Razor's like very safe. It was like
Very good versus
pretty
Bristleback.
Against Bristleback.
Yeah, it would have been a much safer pick, but Luna offers a lot more pushing potential early, but that trade-off doesn't look even close to worth it, in my opinion. She's just too squishy. She can die to a solo Skywrath or a solo Sand King,
I agree.
let alone both of them. Both of them would just blow her up.
Well, she has good heroes to actually create space for her early on. I mean, Centaur and Primal Split. This will give Chavost, most likely Chavost on Luna, a lot of space.
Yeah, I think that's the thought behind any of the picks that comes out by the end of Navi's lineup.
Oof.
Wow.
Elder Titan. I really like the Sand Kings, Kairas plus Titan. They're gonna one-shot anyone. Anyone can die. They can solo kill the Brewmaster and the Centaur on one Centaur on one Sand King. So no need ultimate, no need nothing. Just blink, stun, Kairas ulti, and the guy's dead.
Yeah, Natural Auto is probably one of the best passives in the game.
Yeah, definitely. And he got buffed a lot.
Yeah.
In like 0.82, and he hasn't been used that much.
Which is actually odd because it was already a strong hero in its own.
So
and
it's
now
even
with
stronger.
the buffs, it's just out of control strong, and yet it's not that popular.
And also, what I actually learned from the offlaners I played with, it's like when you're facing a Luna safe lane with probably 2 supports, you can't get anything with any offlane. They're like, I'm gonna die anyway, so at least give me Titan so I can zone them, harass them. Titan does apply pressure on the safe lane passively. He doesn't need to be in the creeps or anything. So it's also a good offlaner to get when they have a really strong safe lane.
Yeah, and once he gets that Soul Ring up and running, he can just keep on sending his spirit.
Definitely.
And it's also a hero that Ice is very well known for. His Timbersaw was fantastic in Game 1, and these are his 2 probably most iconic heroes, except Invoker.
Yeah, it looks as if they're within their comfort zone. I mean, aside from I don't know, Black on Bristleback, I haven't really seen much of earlier, but it's a hero that sort of plays itself, right?
But is Natural Order actually going to be that effective this game? They have no field to somewhat mitigate it, and then
Against
they have
Warrunner?
well, no, Elder Titan with Natural Order. It doesn't really do that much because they have no field on Rubik, and then they have strength heroes without that much armor. So it's like not as effective as, let's say, versus a Morphling.
So again, there's no ban for Vici Gaming, or is that me? They did not ban the last hero because it's Navi's turn to pick, right?
Seems. Are there technical issues?
Yeah, looks like it. The
Or they-
teams are chatting to each other.
Yeah.
Or they're doing a deal.
I think they couldn't click the ban or something like this, so now they're discussing which ban they wanted to actually ban. Well, anyway, looks like it's Navi's turn to pick, and they're not picking. So we might have the draft ending with words and not images.
Wait, who is the...
That's probably not a troll warlord, that's random. Although I would love to see a troll support.
Okay.
I would like to see an Enigma here for Navi.
Was it Vanscore picking or FNG for them?
It's FNG.
Or Dendy.
for
FNG, I think,
for
was
Navi.
saying...
Oh, they were watching one of the WCA games. Navi banned out Zeus. Super had like a ridiculously good Zeus, like a 15-2, and they just dominated with Elder Titan plus Zeus. It just crushed the strength hero.
It's so strong.
Centaur blinked in and like almost died just from 3 spells.
Static Link is super good against strength heroes.
Static Field, man.
Static Field, of course.
And that's not a PA either.
Wait, I'm back at I'm back at my level of play here. This is the sort of lineups I see on a regular basis.
Lineup.
Well, I agree it's not picked, but it could work.
It could work. I really like actually the PA with the Titan, also the physical damage output.
Just like the Troll Wallet could work. Battle Trance with
That's hard.
Moonbright Aura.
No. Hopefully we'll get someone to tell us in a minute whether we're going to revert back to pick some bans to do the last 2. I think there was 1 ban as well, wasn't there? 1 ban and 2 picks.
Yeah, exactly.
I think was left before whatever issue they've got. Hopefully they'll get that fixed fairly soon.
We're looking at the second support for Navi and a mid laner for Vici Gaming.
Yeah.
That's what
is Super going to play? I think that's much more important than the Navi.
Well, that's what we can't really predict right now, because they technically could put the Bristleback on mid. We've seen Super play a Bristleback earlier in his career, and still have that one position for Black in the hand, or they can put the Bristleback on Black and just pick a mid laner for Super.
What they really like right now on Vici Gaming side is initiation. They have nothing to go in. They need to wait the Sand King Dagger, and if he has a hard early game, it's going to be really tough for them to initiate into a Panda, Centaur, and Luna. So what I think they need on Super is something that can just jump and lock them down. It could be anything, even a DK with Shadow Blade, or any stun that sets up the fight for them. Because they have nothing, they just have Bristleback running around.
But even if they stun someone, there's no way they can kill.
We talked about sustainability, and DK is the other hero that's really good at tanking.
They could do like Alchemist.
Alchemist could also be good, a Dagger Alchemist.
I'd definitely go for DK over Alchemist, especially when we have to, like, if it's Super's hero.
That's true. Super is really
It's probably a no-brainer that it's a Dragon Knight.
I think Dragon Knight is really good. It gives them pushing potential as well. If they win the lanes somehow, then they can just turn into a pushing lineup, because a DK solo can turn any lineup into a pushing lineup.
But getting a range hero against the Brewmaster, that can really punish him as well.
That's true. He might lose the lane mid.
Invoker.
Invoker can be good as well. Yeah. I kind of like that pickup as well. And Navi is looking for a support. I think the Enigma that was called, I think it was you, Piran.
Yeah.
It's a really good pick.
I like it because anytime you've got AoE, or anytime you've got things where you want to get people into one place, I think it would work really well. I love Enigma for that. And also he gives them push, with the Uncle Dolans, and he's got the anti-push with the Midnight Pulse. So it works for me.
The problem with going Enigma is that they have one of the greediest lineups ever, because they have the Rubik as the sole support, they have the Enigma in the jungle, they have melee heroes in their lanes.
But
they're Centaur.
The Enigma could...
It's not that.
The Titan pick from Vici Gaming could set up for Enigma for Navi for 2 reasons. Because Luna Rubik alone can zone the Titan. They don't need more, because Titan is really weak off lane. He's annoying with the second spell, but besides that, he does nothing. And also, if you have Enigma versus you, sometimes you want to go aggressive and challenge the enemy, and then you leave the Titan one-on-one, and he's not the best one-on-one, in my opinion, especially on the Dire side.
Yeah.
So
I'm not necessarily prone to agree. I feel he's really strong one-on-one. Once you let that spirit go through.
For someone like Luna, yes. I think he's very strong.
Okay.
Versus heroes that can like chase him down.
Versus the Centaur, I'm not sure about this matchup. I think it's actually hard for the Titan to man-fight the Centaur.
Yeah, it's unlikely that he's going to be up against the Centaur.
Yeah, it's if they decide to, go aggressive and punish the Enigma pick for being greedy.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Okay, we're still not aware that the fixes have been applied just yet, so we've got a little bit of time to talk about the match overall. 1-1 right now. Big game for both of these, and it should be a reminder that we're playing single elimination. It's all or nothing, and how you guys feel about that? I mean, you can be honest. You can tell us whether you like it or you don't like it.
I actually like single elimination.
Personally, as a viewer, I like it because it's more exciting. Every match counts. It is brutal. As a player, I hated single elimination, so I totally kind of see both sides. I just wonder how you guys feel about it.
I like it. Firstly, it's different. Secondly, every game matters. It's kind of like group stage during TI. It's like, oh man, group stages, people get eliminated. And it's the same thing here. People get eliminated from the first match, which is unusual for tournaments.
Yeah, I'm a fan of it. I wouldn't say I prefer it. I like all kinds of different formats, but I'm happy that there's an additional format to the already existing ones that are tried and tested.
Yeah, yes. I mean, it's just something that's a little bit different. It works for the event that we're obviously doing, but it is kind of brutal on the players as well. There's no doubt about that. How do you feel about it in terms of single elim?
I used to hate it back in the days.
But now we paid you enough that you like it?
No, it's because back in the days, you had not so many, really big tournaments with a lot of prestige and everything. So it was single elimination. It was like you practice for 5 months for one tournament, and then it all comes down to one game, and that was really frustrating. But now it's different. We had ESL Frankfurt a few months ago. I mean, you get many chances to prove yourself. So single elimination is part of the game. You have to be good for one game. It can't be bad luck or anything.
You always have to deliver.
Exactly. If you can't deliver always, then you're not the top team. So
one of the things I didn't like about Double Elim was like the team that came from the losers bracket. They had to play like 3 BO3s on the last day, and that's just really
it's excruciating. It pulls out it's a lot of games to watch. And play.
I think it's
well, I'm watching, right? So
I think as well, if you look at the end of that game, they were really celebrating Na'Vi guys. Like Dandy, he was really pleased. He looked hyped, and I think that shows that although it is brutal when you go out, it gives the players a real thing to play for.
I mean, it's
motivation.
It's a bit of a mindset thing. We're back in the draft. So Witch Doctor is going to go for Na'Vi.
He is like my #1 pick. I love this guy.
Yeah,
it's really good against the Bristleback as well.
And I love it against the lack of initiation as well. Because he's going to be able to position however he wants in the fight. Sidekin's going to jump, the fight is going to start, and then the cast into the ward.
He can get his ward off. He's not looking at a multiple stun lineup.
And I feel like regardless of what Vici is picking up right now, Na'Vi has the upper hand in late game. Regardless of what they pick up.
That Witch Doctor is probably the most underrated support.
Yeah.
He's so good. Such a good hero.
I mean, you have 2 tanky heroes that are really good in the late game as well as in both the Brewmaster and the War Runner. Then you of course have the Moonrider, who's one of the strongest late game heroes, and then you have a Witch Doctor.
Yeah.
The support that when he gets the Scepter, he dishes out more damage than the Moonrider.
It's insane.
I love the last pick. It's a really good one for Na'Vi.
If you're talking about tank as well, his heal is ridiculous. That is going to be really something.
That's actually
the only reason I thought that Enigma might be a nice pick is because Glaives and Black Hole would have been nice for Luna to lock them down and just do a ton of damage, but I don't think it matters. You got Cask, you got Death Ward.
Oh yeah.
Forget about it.
Are you bothered at all about that? I mean, oh wow, okay.
And the Razor last pick.
And we're sitting already.
So that's a Razor mid, and that's really good against the Broom, as we were talking about earlier. Something to punish that Brewmaster on the middle lane.
This is going to be a good game.
It is.
I would favor Na'Vi on the draft.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I predicted Vici to win this 2-1, but based off the draft, I think Na'Vi can easily take this.
I agree.
Easy res for me.
All right, good stuff. We're going to go back to the commentary team for our third and final game in our first quarterfinal of the day. Take it away, Cinderin and Toby1.
Thank you very much, Paul. We are back here to do our third game of Na'Vi versus Vici Gaming, and potentially a point where Mark loses his ESL Perfect Prediction Award.
Yeah, I think quite similar to the game number 2 we saw. Na'Vi's just improved their drafting very much from game number 1, and it's, as we talked about in that game, it seemed like they were just trying something out, and now they're back to something more stable. I think both teams have really good drafts in this game. One thing I want to point out, though, from the get-go here is that Na'Vi, as far as one thing I like commenting on whenever it's very relevant, like in a game like this, I think it's often very important to have multiple means of initiating a fight. And when you look over at Na'Vi's lineup, you've got Telekinesis, you've got Blink Dagger Brewmaster, you've got Cask, and you've got Centaur with Stampede and or Blink Dagger and Hoofstomp, right? Mm-hmm. On Vici Gaming, you have Burrow Strike and Burrow Strike. Right? Unless you want to call...
You limit yourself a lot, yes.
Do you think... I wouldn't really call Viscous Nasal Goo an initiating tool. And you've got Concussive Shot, which hits like 1, maybe 2 targets if they stack, but it's really not reliable. And the problem is, I think Vici Gaming's teamfight relies on an Epicenter coming off. So then FY can't open it for them. Yep. Technically, Elder Titan can also be an initiator with Astral Spirit into Echo Stomp, but the level these teams play on, they are really good at splitting up. Yeah, he can follow through it. Now, one thing Vici Gaming is going to be really good at, and that I don't think they touched upon so much in the pre-match analysis, is how much harassment power Vici Gaming actually has from a distance. Elder Titan with a high level of Natural Order and Astral Spirit together with Plasma Field can pretty much stop a push, just those 2 abilities combined. You have a front liner, Bristleback, who will get the safe lane farm as it looks right now. Oh, maybe not. We'll see that in a moment. Also doing some significant damage when all the armor is gone from the enemies. And then even in addition to that, Skywrath Mage, if anyone gets caught out, there is the Mystic Flare, which will effectively deal pure damage if Astral Spirit is on top of the target, which is kind of scary. It's a 600 damage ability on level 1.
I almost want to put this game down to, like, kind of what the panel said as well. It's a game of survivability right now. But the survivability from Na'Vi, like when you put it all on paper, I think you got Centaur, we got a large amount of life points and an escape mechanism for everyone. You got Witch Doctor, who can make space with a cask and give Voodoo Restoration and make space once the Death Ward also comes up in levels. You got Brewmaster, who can split and is also very tanky by nature. You got Rubik, who's giving magic resistance to everybody and also has pick up, throw aways. Like he's got a lot of escape mechanisms. And that leaves your last one, the Luna, who's probably the most susceptible of the Na'Vi lineup to dying. But if you can get to a point of having some good lifesteal and Satanic, then you're also looking pretty good from that front. Where Vici Gaming, the survivability isn't as great, but the point is they can kill a hell of a lot faster because of the combination with the Elder Titan. The Brewmaster ulti in the early stages is also quite useless, mainly because of like, once you're able to get a lot of stacks up on the quill stacks, then you're going to lose your Brewlings anyway, and that'll buy space for then Super to move around. He likes also the Brewlings because he can static link them directly, so he doesn't actually lose that static link either. So I really, as far as this goes, if Vici Gaming get a good initiation off, if they get some good pickoffs, then Na'Vi lose all their stayability. But if Na'Vi are able to get up in farm, up in levels and get space in the early stages, then I don't see Vici Gaming holding on to this game at all.
I think this one is really open. There's the two lineups excel at completely different things here, and depending on who gets the jump on their terms, they'll probably be in a really good position now. As far as the lanes go here from the get-go, we do have dual lane setups for Na'Vi with the Luna and Rubik bottom lane. Speaking of which, they might actually try to go for this one on Ice. This is going to be a lot of damage. He's pretty much out of position here.
The Spirit's going to dropping, drags it back in. It's the movement speed he's looking for with the Lucent Beam, and the healing salve is enough. 11 life points he stays alive on.
And surprising for me, Havos didn't use his Lucent Beam early on. This is a 6-second cooldown. That could have been a first blood right there. If he Lucent Beams earlier, before they lift, he will have a secondary one, and that would have been a kill. So, a missed opportunity here for Na'Vi, and that's really important for Ice to stay alive through this. Now, he does not have any more regen, and the Courier is in use, so he's pretty much stranded down here right now. But
he doesn't want to buy up regeneration either. This is a guy who wants to build into a bottle.
Or a Soul Ring.
Or a Soul Ring, but considering the way the runes have changed around, I think at this in this type of game, like a bottle would just be a lot better for him. Just to contest at least. But this top lane too, it's kind of interesting to watch like the Observer Ward placement. This is a very, very early ward buying Funnick space. And now he's managed to find 3.5 levels from it. His CS is okay. He's still walking around at 5-0, so that's not amazing. But he'll know the second FY comes in at like a level 2 Burrow Strike. And even now, like FY, he just needs one, he doesn't need much experience at all, and he'll actually have enough to get that second level up in Sandstorm. And that's more important for him because then that's going to be stack farming for himself.
Yeah, this triple stack he already made for himself does have Mud Golems, but he can take the other 2 stacks at least. Yeah, he'll be going top here for the level 3, but overall, now Na'Vi has chosen to rotate down the Witch Doctor, which I'm a little bit surprised by. I think the Rubik and Luna had this lane under control, but perhaps they're going here to just push the tower. They're adding FNG to the mix for the additional pushing power. There is Basilius already up on Havost as well, and now they're going to dive behind the tower. This is a kill that, or a gank that Ice cannot in any way expect right now, but, well, maybe he can.
I'm wondering if he used, I thought he might have used the Spirit to have a bit of a look through the tree lines, and in fact, SK's already peeing it out, saying, yo, Ice, be mindful down here. He's keeping his eye out for him. FY does have that level 2 up in Sandstorm, so the supports are going to start to farm a lot faster here for Vici Gaming, while you're missing out on time here from FNG and Vanskor. For their push, they're even triggering the fortification so early on to make sure this catapult will go down. That's the primary goal of that fortification right there.
And it looks like it's going to happen as well. It needs one more hit from the tower. No other creeps come in range, so there we go. Yeah, that's a really good glyph.
Courier's coming towards middle lane, but Funnick, he's got no jump. He's just got Tranquil Boot, so there's no way to get that Courier or even catch Super out. It is nighttime, of course, so the vision is a little bit more restrictive. But that's not going to give him this mid kill. Not unless Super really overcommits himself.
Well, he will now.
He starts the static link. He's lost it too. Funnick's going to try and chase him down. There's 3-7-2 against 3-9-0, so Funnick, he is able to catch up to him, which means the hoof stomp will be available. But the problem is Dendy, he's also trying to keep up with him at a 350 movement speed, and he can't do it. They just give up the chase at the end of the day.
Good awareness here from Super to get off to the left of the right side, the right time there, sorry, so... Yeah, another failed attempt here from Na'Vi. I don't think this one is so costly because Funnick was not in the best position in the top lane, but the fact remains, it just looks like Vici are getting the better of this laning stage right now. They're getting to play their Sand King in the jungle without getting punished. The bottom tower only lost half its health. Ice is almost level 4. Funnick, same level in the Radiant offlane, which the offlanes are a little bit more similar now after the change, but I would still favor the Radiant just because of the way the lane works. So all in all, I think Vici Gaming are happy with how things are going right now. I'm very curious to see how scary this Bristleback gets. I think it's a hero, it's often underrated how much damage it actually does. People tend to focus a lot on the fact that it's a frontliner, it's very tanky and hard to bring down, but if you itemize for it, this hero is a legit late game carry as well. He's got great move speed, he hits incredibly hard.
His physical DPS goes through the roof, really.
It's insanely good.
That's why Warpath is so important to him, and he's about to crack his level 6 on this top lane. He's already got treads available. F1's also walking around. He's level 5 now, went 2-3 in the build, so not the extra point up at the Burrow Strike, because Sandstorm's just giving him so much more now. If there's an opening for a kill, he goes for it. They'll probably realize there is Observer Ward there, so it doesn't knock him out, but he just stacks, he'll come back, he'll farm it up, and he'll get very, very close, while looks like Super is having some fun here with FNG.
FNG is so dead.
There's a Plasma Field level 1. One attack and Plasma Field it, or he doesn't care. He physical DPS's the FNG down, so that means you've got a lot of money now coming into Super. That goes towards the Buy Me a Mech fund. And I'm still looking at well, face boots as well. Did he actually buy face boots, did he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he bought face boots. And he also bought the headdress too. He can buy both.
Ice, ice, ice. He wanted that last hit really bad. He gets to pay for it.
And Luna gets the kill with the Lucent Beam.
Easy pickings. This new path here in the Radiant bottom lane just makes for some really interesting gank potentials, especially for a hero like Rubik, who can initiate from a pretty long distance and then toss back into the Luna there. Very nice kill here from Na'Vi.
Yeah, with the old school. Well, Brewmaster Split's being used here in the middle lane. They're searching for Super. They'll get the first one off. FNG's going to land the Paralyzing Cask as well. Super, not enough life points. Phase Boots, if he set up in towards the air, which takes away his movement speed, but they've got enough damage. They're deep behind the tower, but Super does go down. Brewmaster back into his normal self. And FY was searching for some kind of extra space here. But Vanscore's out to hold him out with a telekinesis, but Denny, he triggers DD rune. But they don't really have a way. Sentry Ward, the bouncing cast. Burrow Strike, he'll get himself away from Funnick. The cast followed him up. The Courier's actually coming in the middle of this now. Concussive shot. Throwing out there with the extra seal and ice. Funnick, you'll get the Hoof Stomp off. FY staying very, very close there. Takes the double-edged damage.
On Black.
He is
really far in as well. Wow.
Yeah, but with an Nasal Goo, another concussive shot going out, slowing down Denny with 2 orb attacks. The Spirit, Dandy, now you see how much damage can come his way. 150, FNG low on life too. Both of these heroes will be forced back. But Avors is pushing the tier 1 tower solo, and he's dishing out a lot of damage down here. And they have no fortification.
Well, that was a lot of aggression from both sides there. Funnick diving really deep with the centaur, and then suddenly Black almost died as well on his Bristleback. Both teams are definitely not playing it safe, considering that this is a game 3 and the deciding game for both of them of whether they proceed in the tournament or not. So it's good to see all this aggression coming out. I would say in this particular instance, probably Na'Vi coming out with a better trade because they got the tier 1, and we're gonna see a Midas on Host here after the treads. So aiming for a late game Luna build here.
It's kind of dangerous when you've just got an 8-minute Blink Dagger over on a Sand King.
He's very, very easy to kill right now on that Luna.
Yep. This is why I thought something more like a Bracer at least, so he can go into the drum kind of build. But at the same time, like, if you never see the initiation come out from Vici Gaming, then you're fine. And in fact, it's Na'Vi who are the ones trying to initiate. They smoke gank over on FNG as well as Vanscore, searching for an opening. They have the Observer Ward down. Super has his own, so he'll feel a little bit more confident about that lane. But at the same time, it looks like FY as well as Fenrir have exactly the same thought. And we'll see who can get the pick off. But it's definitely not going to be on Super. He is massively defensively moving down and away from the rest of Na'Vi.
Yeah, this gank is... It's pretty obvious that there's a gank happening from Na'Vi. Now, they don't know where it's happening, but the way with what Vici Gaming are seeing on the lanes right now, they're assuming that it's mid, which is obviously completely correct here. So this gank is not gonna bring anything with it for Na'Vi. Essentially, a lot of time wasted. At the same time, Vici is just farming both bottom and top lane. Now, Ice is going to get his level 6 in a moment. I am curious to see whether he goes for the 0440 build, which is more or less the standard. But sometimes we've seen, I believe it's Universe, who started to get a point in Echo Stomp a little bit earlier, for example. And I think Vici Gaming's lineup could really benefit from having another stun.
It's just adding that little bit of extra earlier control, which you're probably not always expecting, as in the enemies of the Elder Titan. But he does hit his level 6, and he sticks with the 033 build. And FNG's moving down. With the Blink Dagger, they know. Concussive shot, Epicenter as well being channeled, but the ulti is up from the Centaur. FNG just runs himself away, and now FY moves up through the tree line. The Bouncing Cast's going to come in with the trees on the side. Then he just claps, and the Lucent Beam from Avors ensures another quick kill coming their way. As I'm hearing, actually, yeah, he's just happy with the kill for the moment, and Vici Gaming do back up. But you're still getting a super where the DD rune is very, very close to finishing up that mech, and Black is still free farming up top. Go for a bit of a, he's got a VIP boost as well as a cloak early on.
This is a good call from Super. They know that Stampede is down, it was just used, so he can go up here and start putting a lot of pressure, knowing that Funny can't really initiate on them. I don't know if the follow-up damage here from Vici Game is going to be enough to bring down this tower, but did Dendy TP to that bot lane? I think he did. So the Brewmaster will not be able to reinforce the top lane, and this might just turn out to be a destroyed tower here for Vici Game.
Yeah. But the difference is between this tower as well as what Na'Vi did before is the fact that Na'Vi actually had the Vici Gaming didn't have fortification to defend their bottom tier 1 tower. Where this time around Na'Vi will use it and delay it up. And this buys them time to do some damage into the tier 1 tower of Vici Gaming. The Spirit from the other Titan though is forcing him straight back. So it will be a tower going the way of Vici Gaming, but Na'Vi gets some return damage into the tier 1 in mid.
And if you remember in game number 1 when we were casting the, what was it, the Undying getting the Crimson Guard?
Yep.
We weren't sure if that was a good Crimson Guard game. This is an amazing Crimson Guard game for Black. I think he has to get it here. He should finish the Vanguard now. He's just waiting for the ring. He's getting it now. The Crimson Guard, of course, the 50 damage block for 9 seconds against Luna's Glaives, the Death Ward, Brewmaster's Split. It's just it's perhaps the highest value item Vici Gaming can get for their money for the entire first 30 minutes of the game, together with the mech on Razor. If Vici Gaming get both those items, I think Navi's going to struggle to teamfight because they're going to have to do all their damage magically, which is not... They have magic damage, don't get me wrong, but a big part of Luna's teamfight presence in the mid-game is not just the Eclipse, but that the Glaives start dealing significant damage. And with a Crimson Guard, you just don't care. The bounces will actually deal like 0.
Fender and FY just made the best decision they ever could have made. They went in the one vision gap of Na'Vi's warding inside their jungle before they went for any kind of smoke movement.
Oh yeah, just a small correction. It doesn't work on the Death Ward. Thank you, Twitch chat. Yeah, the Death Ward ignores this the Vanguard damage block and the Crimson Guard block too. So that's a good point. But it's still very, very good against Luna and Brew, and it doesn't change the fact that it's amazing here. But true, it's not as good as I said, but still amazing. So
this is not a fight the Vici Gaming want to take. The smoke's going to break on FY, which means he knows that someone's in the tree line, but there's 5 heroes. They're jumping in on Super. Where is our epicenter from FY? He's got to actually start channeling it in the back end of play. Super still alive. The mech charge hit him up, and the telekinesis from Vanscore. It stops the hit, but then again, he's still going to burrow strike off, and the ulti from Luna is well off target. It allows for a blink away by FY. The Brewmaster can't keep up with him. The Bristleback will be sent up towards the air, but Fenrir is now the one being chased down, Funnick right in the back of him. The Spirit will be dropping both the Vorst and FNG down below half of their life points. But with all of that, it was still a 1-1 trade-off, and that was Centaur ulti, that was Eclipse, and that was Brewmaster Split, all committed to try and go for that kill.
I think Na'Vi should be happy getting a 1-for-1 when they completely whiffed the Eclipse. It hit nothing. The Vici Gaming heroes backed out at the right time. Na'Vi also had to use the Stampede, or they used Stampede in a kind of awkward way. It didn't seem like they were completely decided on whether they wanted to initiate or disengage with it, and they kind of got a little bit of both out of it. And, well, with that spell usage, getting a 1-for-1 here from Na'Vi, I think is okay. They used the split to try to get in on Super, who has the mech. I don't know if Dendy had seen that at that point. So
we're going again, man.
Yeah.
The sentry went down from Vanscore because he wasn't sure about it. FY and Eyesight Sights have the high ground here, but a Spirit into a Burrow Strike, they made us do it anyway. Burrow Strike, there's the 2 in the Spirit, and then Subaru with a Plasma Field. Vanscore loses life so quickly. Eyesight Sights got bonus 172 damage on this guy. They will take 3 heroes from Na'Vi on the high ground, and Vici Gaming, a huge advantage coming their way with those kills, and they'll look to the tier 1 tower and they'll claim it.
Plasma Field hits so incredibly hard. To put things in perspective, if there's a natural order on the targets that Super hits with a level 4 Plasma Field on max range, they all take about the same damage as they would getting hit by Laguna Blade. So that is pretty insane. It's 370 max damage on the Plasma Field at the max radius. It's currently only level 3, and you saw how hard that hit right there.
Yeah.
If that's a level 4, 370 damage after reduction, that's sick. And it's what I was talking about earlier, how Vici Gaming will easily be able to clear waves, and it's going to be a problem for Na'Vi when they want to try to push lanes, because Elder Titan and Razor can just hold. It's going to be absolutely no problem for them with all the damage they have between those two abilities combined. And Navi's heroes will just be tanking way too much damage if they try to push.
That's true how much space Navi has been trying to give to FNG. Like, he's come back for both the fights, but they gave him space in the bottom lane to try and find levels. Now they give him space on top, but FY just goes for the solo kill. And there's no way Evorce can stop this. Then again, Restoration, one charges. He's in the Sandstorm. And hiding for now, he doesn't have enough mana for another jump. He's only got one charge up his sleeve. But it does mean the epicenter gets blown. But FNG, and he survives. Burns through a lot of mana to restore himself up. FY, Dendi, he clapped before he blinked. I don't know if that was just meant to bring down the creep wave, however, but he could have gone after FY. Either way, Fenrir now in towards the middle lane. They see Vanskor. Got a shot just to slow him down. With the time, the Vanskor, he didn't throw him away far enough. In fact, he walked back into Super.
Okay,
and they've used the Stampede to try and get him out.
That last shot from Razor was like 1,000 range when it hit. Of course, it only matters when you start the animation. Even with Rubik running that far, it still doesn't cancel. So, yeah, we've got ourselves a tower trade. Navi will get top, Vici getting bottom, so that's even. Black did indeed choose to go for the Crimson Guard here. I'm very curious to see that in play. It's still an item that I feel like the pro scene hasn't, it's still very new, the whole version and everything, so I think it's probably getting picked up less than it should because the teams aren't necessarily considering it often enough because you need to get used to all these new changes, but I'm imagining this Crimson Guard is going to make a really big difference in this game for Vici Gaming. They have, in my book, easily the upper hand in teamfights right now. And I'm saying that against a lineup that has Luna, Brew, and Centaur. But the fact is, if they just land their abilities correctly and get the damage done, then the Crimson Guard is going to mitigate whatever Navi have to throw back at them, or at least enough that with the Mech and Crimson Guard combined, they probably won't die on the heroes.
I want to flag something interesting. Like you talk about getting used to the new changes. Most teams got used to running double bottles. VG Gaming don't have a single bottle on their lineup.
Yeah, that's very unusual. Especially when you're a hero like Razor mid. Now, what Super did do in this game was he maxed out Static Link in the lane. He went 0-3-2 build in the early levels. And if you don't have Plasma Field, it's very hard to contest runes because you don't push out the lane that well.
Yeah.
So maybe that was the reasoning. He felt like he didn't need the mana from the bottle anyway, so I get it. And with that reasoning, it makes a lot of sense. But you're right. A game without a bottle on one team is actually very, very rare these days.
And because of that, like they're not having the full regeneration on the front lines, but maybe you just don't care for now because you've still got your Arcane Boots over in the Skywrath Mage. Your lineup's not heavily mana intensive, so you're okay on that front. Sentry Ward and dewarding from FY, he's going to be quick about that. He thought he was going to be jumped on, but man, VG Gaming, like ISS is still revealing himself on the bottom lane, so it's very difficult to work out what VG Gaming are properly up to, and Navi can't commit to it either, because what are they going to do? Like jump across the river into that? They can find themselves in a lot of trouble in a perfectly positioned SK if they're not careful. And the ping finally came out there from Rubik, just saying, I think something is really going on here, boys. And they're actually stopping halfway through. I don't know if they just need a breather.
Yeah, well, they're not feeling comfortable with the situation right now, Navi, but there's a lot of Vici Gaming heroes missing right now, so they could also be ganking, and Navi are just contemplating what could be going on right here. I think it's going to become pretty obvious now in a moment that, okay, this has taken so long that it must be Roshan. They're giving it up. They can't fight this right now, I think.
Yeah.
Luna got the BKB, but it was a little bit too late. With that, this fight could have maybe happened on their terms, but yeah, she picked it up 30 seconds too late for them to be able to take the fight at the Roche here. So it's going to be an Aegis on the Bristleback. I thought they might have chosen to give that to the Razor, even the Elder Titan, but this means Black can play incredibly aggressively now in these fights. He doesn't have to care about anything at all, actually.
It's that ultimate survivability, but it's beyond that. Is Black going to the front line saying, please throw everything you have at me, then it can trigger, then I come back to life again, and going to cause you a world of pain.
And one thing we have to consider right now with Ice going for this Hand of Midas build is he could turn into a semi-carry himself. I'm curious to see if he tries to go for the new Aghanims upgrade, which gives a disarm to the ultimate and makes it last another second, or if he's looking for the more traditional items such as, well, the mech is taken, maybe he gets a pipe for the team, he could get something like a Hex or a Shiva's Guard, or if he just goes hard hitter and gets a crit at some point. I'd like to see that.
A crit on an ET.
Hits really hard.
Well, he does. There's no doubting that. What was it? Whoops, sorry, Brewmaster ends up going down the bottom lane. Looks like Fenrir, Ulti, and Epicenter both being committed. And Evorce and Vanskor won't get there in time to help him out. They're already bailing out of here.
Yeah, Na'Vi poured it down here with a little bit too late on that. And that's one thing that Sand King and Skywrath are incredible at combined. They can pretty much kill every single hero in the game, even like 30 minutes in. If you combine Epicenter with the Mystic Flare and the what's it called, Ancient Seal again, like the burst damage is just incredible. Even a BKB carry like Luna will actually die before she can get BKB off if the Epi is channeled before the Blink's done. So there's a lot of potential there. Na'Vi is starting to lose control of the map as well, and that's kind of an issue here. They have one ward out in the mid, but apart from that, Vici Gaming are they're invading their jungle right now, and Na'Vi they're pulling out. So it's pretty easy to see who's in control of the game at this point.
Smart little move there by Ice. They didn't get vision over on Havorst, but they did check out some vision on FNG. So when they were doing the dewarding, they put a Spirit down here just so they would be capable of doing the Blink to Burrow Strike and get themselves a follow-up kill straight away if anyone tried to come down and contest them. And who picked up the 4-staff? It's just ET?
Yeah. I was not expecting that from the Elder Sign. It's a great item on pretty much.
Oh, Na'Vi, they're looping.
Game, but
they're looping. Ice. The Spirit actually runs through two of them already. They'll trigger the ulti, then the Plasma Field of Vorst triggers his BKB. Dendy, he's already low on life. Fenry, he's got to turn and seal him up. Mystic Flare not available because he gets half stomped up. Vorst triggers the ulti, but Fenry is the only one who really takes damage from it. Dendy on 232 life points. He'll have to come back in, but the ET splitter, it picked up the Witch Doctor, it picked up the Rubik. So the cores are still left here, and the Brewlings, they won't survive long. We've already got the Fire Brewling low on life. And it's just Centaur as well as Dendy. Funnick and Dendy running themselves away. They're sticking with the Earth Brewling. They'll send the Bristle up in towards the air. And Ice attempting to stop the Burrow Strike. They waited him out perfectly. And Brewmaster not splitting up. 4 heroes for the price of 1. And they blew every ulti they had apart from Death Ward. Because the ET splitter from Ice was perfect through the tree line.
Yeah, that was such a good initiation again from Vici Gaming. And the absolute crucial thing is getting the Ancient Seal on the Brewmaster. It wasn't really initiation from Vici, it was Na'Vi initiating pretty poorly, to be honest. The smoke broke, and then they still pursued through. They used the BKB on Luna on half health together with a Stampede, and they didn't even catch up from that. So 2 of the really important things for the team fight were kind of thrown out the window before it even started. And Vici Gaming just kited them around and then easily cleaned them up at the end. So making quick work of that fight, and they got themselves about a 5,000 additional golden experience lead in that one swoop here. So we're now on the 10k mark.
Oh, that's pretty fun, man.
For Na'Vi right now.
Even look at FY's money. Look at FY's money. He's got 3.2k gold on a Sand King. What is he buying with this?
A house. Oh, Dendy.
He jumps in, but I think he came for the creep camp, but ended up just having FY Burrow Strike underneath him. He'll still take the 2 big creeps here. So that's still worth his time traveling, but the BKB is now fully done for Super. And they'll just keep on working through the rest of their items. Also a bit of a casual headdress coming up on a Skywrath, even though Super's already picked up the full mech.
Yeah, they're probably looking for a pipe as well to just... Like, if you have a team in the mid-game, like around the 25 to 30 minute mark, and you have mech, pipe, and Crimson Guard, like, what can fight you if the enemy team doesn't have the same? You're gonna have to, if you're Na'Vi, you're gonna have to try to bait out those, reset, and then reinitiate. Or you need to get one hell of a burst off in the start of the fight, so you take out a key target while it's stunned. One of the ones that have the mech pipe or the Crimson Guard.
They just picked up a second 4-staff. That one belongs to the SK. And if they jump up right now, Super will come up and Havorst will be visible. Concussive shot's already flying with the Spirit on top of Havorst. He's slowed down, but there's just no follow-up damage. And then again, when you can stomp and hold Havorst in position, the Aegis gets fully reclaimed. So that advantage no longer belongs. But this ancient area, I don't know if Na'Vi even want to try and contest this. Especially when Black's about to pick up a Halberd. He's been working through these items really, really quickly. When you're 101 and 134 CS, you would think you would do such a thing. But Luna, hilariously enough, Havorst, he's 212 on the board, and he has the highest net worth across the board too.
It's the Midas factor.
Yeah, but you've also got like Midas over an Elder Titan too.
Yeah, which is why he's actually doing really well considering how hard the lane was for him in the start, but Isis has recovered very nicely. He's currently 4th in the net worth, only behind Luna, as you said, Razor, and the Bristleback. And the problem for Na'Vi right now is they're going to be trying to make some moves here, because I think they're realizing they're starting to lose a grip on this game. It's going to be a Sanjin Yashin, not a Halberd here from Black. I thought the Halberd would be a good choice too, but...
well, considering the only person he could use it on would be, what, Centaur? Because Luna would BKB out. Looks like middle lane, Vanscore getting sniped off. Burrow Strike into, well, from the Blink Dagger with Spirit and follow-up. They did use the Mystic Flare too. Yeah, but he went S and Y instead, and it just says a load of Funnick straight away. And already the Hoof Stomp of Voss showed himself up here too. They'll use a center ollie that allows FY to be too far away to get that Burrow Strike on a Voss, but at the same time, in 5 seconds time, he's got the same combo again. And you've already got the rotation coming up from Fenrir. Dendy, he's going to be the only target they can go for, but he TP's out in time. A Voss is out under the cover of BKB, and so is Funnick.
Yeah, good disengage from Na'Vi here, but again, they get to pay. With a BKB charge this time around, so it's down to 8 for Vost, and well, he can't buy a new one of them, right? So having to use these charges defensively just reduces their teamfight potential in the late game even more. And it's just hard to see Vici Gaming losing a grip on this map right now. They're pushing out the lanes very well. They're intimidating Na'Vi, just moving around, forcing them off their half of the map. And you just don't really see Na'Vi getting an opportunity in these last 15 minutes. They've barely had a team fight that we could call a team fight. It's always been like a chaotic engage where Vici has been kiting them. They've been farming more at the same time as well.
It's difficult for them to actually get an advantage here, like any kind of vision, because like one, you've just got an SK who just picked up a Gem and True Sight, so he's already starting the D-warning for him. But check out the vision of Vici Gaming. They've already got the high ground up on the top. They're watching the Ancients, observers and sentries in both positions. Then another observer ward sitting just in the tree line off that bottom lane. There's just no vision for him, and the only 2 observer wards that Na'Vi have down right now is one next to the tier 2 tower in the bottom lane. Sorry, I said there's actually more than that. There's one watching the movement to a tier 1 tower in the bottom, and then one deeper inside the jungle.
They could be getting super off this if they try to initiate, but no.
There's double TPs on the way, and that static link, they're going to let the Eclipse go, but Super, he's got his BKB up, the Death Ward's doing nothing. FY, Burrow Strike, Voss the BKB will protect the Fade Bolt. There's your ET splitter, Voss unable to TP out. They'll lose 2, they'll lose 3, and VG Gaming 16-5 now on the board. They have a big roll of momentum here, and this will allow, I want to say Fenrir to take top tower, but VG Gaming to get all creep waves pressured into either the tier 2 towers or up to the tier 3 on the bottom.
Yeah, this Razor is just so tanky. That wasn't even a poor initiation from Na'Vi, I think. They got the Eclipse off with the perfect timing together with the Rubik Telekinesis. But they didn't have the burst. They couldn't bring him down in one go, and then he just BKBs mechs and turns on them, and they don't have any damage after that point. Luna is a spread damage carry, and she's got great magic damage burst on a single target right now between Eclipse and Lucent Beam, but when the BKB is procced, it's a 130 damage Luna, who a big part of her teamfight potential is just the splitting out damage, but when it comes to fighting a single carry like Razor, who has 15 armor, she's pretty bad, and Na'Vi don't have any significant single target physical. You saw the Death Ward there even kind of only scratched the Razor.
Yeah.
So
the Death Ward is still only level 1. I think that's the reason why, like, okay, FNG first got space when he cracked the level 6 in the bottom lane. He took farm in the bottom lane to take that. And then up to the top lane he went. And then back down in the bottom lane. While the rest of his team was farming up, they tried to buy him space, but he's still only just sub of level 9. His effectiveness isn't there. Now, Funnick, he scouted out Ice. He'll have to use his ultimate as well to try and catch up to him, but Ice, he's still got a way out of this one. And that's the rest of his team coming back up through the mid. And Funnick realizes he's got nowhere to keep chasing this one because the rest of his teammates were left so far behind. So that's now Stampede on cooldown for another 60 seconds. VG Gaming also don't have the random generator gods with them. Roshan has the maximum spawn time. Like the full 3 minutes they have to wait out for it. Like it's not even just a second off that, it's the full 3 minutes they have to wait for him. So that's probably the extra insurance they want before they go high ground, having the Aegis on one of these heroes. Either that or they're just confident enough when you're, well, 17,000 net worth in front and about 15,000 worth of experience in front, you just pop up the hill.
Yeah, it's gonna be, wait, what's playing out? Is that the pipe? No, it's an urn for Fenrir. So he just got the headdress, actually. Kind of a very rare pickup to see just isolated, but BKB for Super.
I don't know if that was meant to be a misclick or not, but he is TPing up towards the top lane anyway. He couldn't have TP'd where he was because Luna was so close, she would have just Lucent beamed him. But that's a very unusual reason to use a 9-second BKB as opposed to walk into the tree line first.
I think he might have also been nervous that the Centaur was going to initiate on him. His team was kind of far away, I think, but... Well, regardless, Vici Gaming are just going to keep controlling this. I like this a lot from Na'Vi. They forced out a BKB. It might not be the biggest deal, but just the fact that they get some sort of edge is going to put them on the offensive here. Black!
Yeah, he goes down quickly. No, he doesn't. Force stuff up. He gets the guard off. The Brewmaster split will happen. Black, he's only just barely alive. Now he does go down, but they're committed a lot to kill him off anyway. Fenrir needs a moment while we are spinning up in the air. We will need a moment before we come back down to earth. This is not the position where you want to have a quick pause, as they are slightly out of position. But Na'Vi still expended a hell of a lot. They used BKB during that one. Okay, so Sand King. I was wondering why he was sitting up in the tree line.
Really far away from the fight.
Yeah, he burrow striked into the jungle to start his farming up. But yeah, he's just so far away, so he DC's out now. But the second we see Elder Titan hit the ground, I'm still not 100% certain that they can kill him off. It's full life for the Sand King. You've got a Razor on his way, and he's still got the mech available as well by the looks of it. And he's got Static Link, Eye of the Storm, Plasma Field, and of course, this BKB. It is a 7-second duration BKB. He's only been through like 1.5 seconds of it. But it's still going to be a rough time.
He's been through more, hasn't? Oh, never mind. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's just on the countdown. It's through that.
Yeah.
But Funnick is also waiting here with what looks, that's not even 2 seconds. That's like 1 second and 0.1113 recurring, of course.
Yeah, if they drop down this Elder Titan, I think he's going to get burst down. He is definitely going to die. And
see, but with the mech charge, and he does have the spirit inside of him at the moment. I'm not a certain man.
I don't think his movement speed matters at this point. He's going to get blown up. He's not going to be able to move here, I think. There's a boulder toss in 2 seconds. They're going to drop him down, boulder toss, then they're going to hoof stomp double edge, and Luna's going to attack him. There's no way he lives through this, I think. And he needs to die for Na'Vi to call this a successful fight. It's not enough that they
Fenrir is coming in too. See, if they commit for this, then I think they're going to end up losing out in a Vorst. Because Super's just going to end up killing a Vorst if they commit to kill off the Elder Titan.
Probably.
But it's their only choice. Like, if Centaur picks up a double hoof stomp, then the fight belongs to Na'Vi. But Funnick, like, he doesn't have a stun right now. Vanscore can get up there, but it's still a walking Rubik. This guy doesn't have Force Staff, he doesn't have Blink Dagger. We're 30 minutes into the game, so there's no quick maneuverability coming up from the support heroes of Na'Vi to allow them the space to fight this. And with that mech from Super and Skywrath Mage coming in with a level 2 Mystic Flare, he's also got the potential to seal up any of these heroes when they jump in. I don't think this is, it looks good and easy for Na'Vi right now, but I don't think it is going to be exactly that.
No, it's pretty hard to call the outcome of this. Even if they do manage to burst down the Elder Titan, like you said, there's a big chance of taking casualties as well, depending on FY here when he does come back into the game. So we just got word that they're rebooting his PC, so it's probably going to be another about 2 minutes for that. And yeah, well, I mean, looking at this fight right now, I was saying Na'Vi definitely needs another kill before they can call this a success, because the fact is they managed to bring down Black, which is fine, but they've committed so hard into this that they need more than that. Getting 1 kill off of using BKB Eclipse, Brewmaster Ultimate, Stampede,
Death
Ward, and Big Boy's back, then you can't be happy with that. It's not enough. Because you know Vici Gaming are just going to respawn the Bristleback, they're going to go down, they're going to take Roshan. And Na'Vi cannot fight that with what they have right now. It's absolutely impossible. So that's another thing that Vici has got going for them in this game, I think. They're less dependent on their long cooldown ultimates. When Na'Vis are used, Vici Gaming can, in theory, buy back and take an objective, or such as Roshan, or maybe even a tier 3 later on in the game if that becomes relevant. And on the contrary, what do Vici Gaming have that are long cooldowns? They've got Earth Splitter, which has been quite useful like once or twice, but not absolutely mandatory to take the fights. The cooldown on Mystic Flare is so low that it doesn't matter. It's kind of the same story for Eye of the Storm, 1 minute. And the Epicenter, how many Epicenters have we even seen in this game?
All right, we're going
I feel
again.
like we've seen like 1 or 2, and they haven't been.
He got interrupted a couple of times, but the fight's about to start up again, so we'll jump back in with Elder Titan. He'll come down to the deck straight away, and they just instantly disengage. The Brewlings are left behind us, stun over on Super. But they are getting the hell out of dodge. At the same time, FY will not allow. He burrow strikes through Funnick. More support has to arrive, but they got Denny caught inside the... your blink up. There was no extra attack to actually stop that blink dagger. So I thought he might have been caught inside the river, but not to be the case. So yeah, Na'Vi, they just backed the hell out of there. They did not want to try and battle up against that ET. And because of this now too, Ice, this guy's only like 800 gold away from a Scythe of Vice.
Yeah, this is a free Rosh in my book. I think Vici can just go and take it. There's absolutely no way Na'Vi can deal with it. And they already saw Roshan is up. They sent in an Astral Spirit from Ice. I think they're going to push out the lanes first, just get control of that, and then go and take it when they have full vision of the area right now. So we'll see. Oh, FY is certainly getting in position. No, never mind. Just playing up the high ground.
Getting to 3 different positions at the same time.
Just checking for the ward here. And there is indeed coverage in the area for Na'Vi, but Vici Gaming doesn't know it's there. It's pretty unlikely that FY goes over and scouts there.
Yeah.
Wait, maybe, yeah, he's going to go with the...
But it'll be a very, very thorough SK if he's checking over on that side.
Oh, they still see it because of the gem range here, and Fenrir is going to counter-ward it.
Yeah.
And here we go for Roche. There is no chance for Na'Vi to defend this. So now the question is, after this, like, where do we go if you're Vici? Do they finish up the Hex on Ice before they go high ground? Are there other crucial items? Or do they feel like they're in a good enough position to just start sieging the base here? I think they have what it takes.
With the death of Roshan, Ice only needs one camp, and he has the side device.
He's probably just going to take the mid wave right now.
Oh, Funnick. Really? If his timing is right, if he ran down there straight away, he could have had a crack at it. But they'll move back to Ice. And he's watching him. He had the Invis rune. And there was actually no sentry wards, just the gem from the SK. Well, Funnick didn't want to try and play with that kind of fire. But Vici Gaming, for me, it would just be a top lane push. Like, they have the side device up right now. They could just go through bottom lane or through mid. But at the same time, I don't think Na'Vi want to fight outside the base. If they try and stop them from taking a tier 2 tower, they'll heavily lose that fight because it's just an unfavorable map position for them.
Yeah, trying to go for a split now seems like the better choice, like Vost is doing right now. His damage is not that significant yet with the Manta style, but when he gets his next item, which will definitely be a damage item, probably a butterfly, that's when he can start taking fights and can be much more of a serious threat in these fights to Vici Gaming. However, the problem still remains, he will still be a split damage carry at that point. And if there's two heroes that don't really care about that split chip damage, it's Bristleback and Razor. So the problem for Na'Vi is still going to be the same, even after he picks up the first damage item. I think if we're looking at the potential for Na'Vi to come back and win this game, Halvos needs to be 6 slotted. I don't think there's any way around it right now. It's 6 slots, and one of them might need to be even a crit so that he can hit really hard on a single target, because else... it's hard to imagine them killing out the Bristle. Like... 2,000 health on an Aegis and a Crimson Guard? And he has 4k gold as well, so if he builds a heart now, Black is going to be immortal. Like, there is just...
You wouldn't look to him to finish
side.
the pipe for their team?
It's still a possibility, but I think we're reaching that point in the game when pipe kind of starts falling off quite a lot, and he could get bigger items and just make himself really tanky. And there it is. He's going to get BKB instead. I think this is a better choice, and I think they should just be getting this on their heroes instead of the pipe. Could also see Elder Titan getting BKB next. He has damage already, so if he can just run in with BKB on, he can hit hard.
Oh, for now, Vici Gaming, they're pushed in the middle lane. The bottom lane's having a bit of a push for Na'Vi though. Primarily because, again, you got now Vanscore and Dendy down here pushing this out. But Dendy, well, and Vanscore, they both have to TP themselves out because Vici Gaming, they're coming high ground. The Aghanim's Razor is already beating into the tier 3 tower. Fortification, not being used yet. They're in fact just going to use their Cask and Hand of Miasis. FY is keeping his distance for the moment, and now there's that BKB. Flown in the Courier. FY, oh, I thought for a moment, maybe Miasis were playing tricks on me. I thought he was going to actually make that bit of a pounce.
They don't want to glyph this at all, or what?
I don't know, they're just letting it go.
They just gave a tier 3 on a range Drax without even trying.
Maybe they just don't believe they can take the fight.
Well, then you still want to try to glyph to at least stall out and maybe get some sort of an advantage based on a mistake from Vici Gaming, but if you don't even try, they're just going to be like, okay, cool. Next lane, I guess.
Just back it up, try again later on.
It's almost Refresher Orb now on Super. Yeah. That's probably going to spell the end of Na'Vi space if they don't get a perfect initiation and shut him down.
They're coming out, man.
Double ult with 15 seconds of BKB from Super. They cannot stop that.
They're going to try and smoke gank and find anybody they possibly can, but at the same time, Vici Gaming, they could just group up and do whatever the hell they want to. They know how powerful they are. Unless Na'Vi basically come as 5, like, the best advantage they might have is 5-on-4. Because everyone's just so close. FY, I think, is the only person who's been the straggler on the rest of his team. But he's only a blink and burrow away when times get really rough. So they use a Vorst as bait. But Vici Gaming don't care. They don't care about killing off a Vorst right now. The only thing they care about is taking a secondary Rax. And they're already looking up towards the high ground. Black shows himself. FNG's the only one here with Malediction as well as a paralyzing cask. They stomp up. They did manage to slow down FNG. And then, well, with an extra follow-up stuff, but Black still got this Aegis to the Immortal. He's forcing the issue. He wants his Aegis to trigger. A quick reincarnation for him and he's good to go. Actually, how long has he got left on that? Like, he's still got another minute and a bit. So not long.
Yeah. They're gonna use it now on this wave. anything. Just go in, force out the response from Na'Vi, and then when he comes back to life, he can BKB.
Refresh is up.
Yeah.
It's on the courier right now.
Uh-oh, they're going to go right now. This is probably going to be the end of the game right here on this. Na'Vi pull out some sort of miracle play.
Well, let's see how it goes. Already Black, low on life, so the Aegis Simol is going to trigger now. Funnick jumps in, went for the Hoofstopper Super. He got the BKB off. Starts his ultimate already. Remember, he's going to have a secondary BKB. The easy splitter completely wafted, but the damage from Super, he just has a full-on crack at it. And this is going to be Death Ward forcing Black out a little bit more, but the Burrow Strike from onto FNG from FY already stops this one up, and Black triggers his own BKB. Super's already just let the Refresher Orb go, and the second ulti is up and running. And now back up, they trigger Crimson Guard. But with the buyback coming up from the Rubik, they decide just to play it safe. This is still a single elimination bracket. And if they do end up losing a big fight right now, they give a good advantage over to Na'Vi, but right now, I doubt Vici Gaming could lose a big fight unless they made some horrendous mistake.
Yeah, we're at that point where they kind of need to throw 2 or 3 fights in a row. Even in the new version, this is still such a massive lead at this point. Now, Na'Vi, once again, I feel like are doing the right thing here. That was a pretty okay defense, all things considered. They only lost Vanscore, who did have to buy back, but they still salvaged their barracks, and now they can maybe try to look for an aggressive play. They know there's the Refresher Orb was used by Super. He currently only has 1 ultimate.
That's true, but you still have Epicenter up and running. And
I don't know.
It's also the ET splitters on cooldown for too long. And they're looking to defend. The BKB is up. Vanscore sitting in the tree line. Well, they did manage to pick up the Skywrath Mage, but now Dendy turn into a Piglet. He'll get Burrow Striked up the Plasma Field damage, and Dendy's down. He never got the split off. And maybe Black, well, Avos turns for his Eclipse. He does BKB up here, but Super, he's able to pick up just into that poor little escaping Witch Doctor. And that's 2 heroes down. The Brewmaster, he doesn't have buyback. He's short by 93 gold, Dendy. And this will be VG's push for mid-racks. They still actually haven't claimed a melee racks in all this time. They took the range one up on top. But they're going to take a melee racks right now.
And Kvotz is doing whatever he can to get some sort of sizable farm here, but he'll have to go back and defend once again. He doesn't have a TP. He needs to be in that mid lane for this push to come now, but I think at this point, Na'Vi will definitely be losing the range barracks here in the mid lane. The question is, can they hold the melee once again? Good telekinesis. Actually going to try here on Super.
I'm not sure about this, but then again, Avos, there's a lot of him. The bouncing glaives, FY, they've already got the kill over on the Rubik. They're buying time for Denny, but they've lost Avos. He's down the tier 3 tower. And he's down for 74 seconds. That is a long time. FNG letting the ulti go with the Hawk Stomp. They might kill off Super. In comes FY. Super does go down. But the Revenge Killer's there instantly. Now they move over to Funnick. The Ghost protecting him from Black. But the physical DPS, he's plus 250 over on the Bristleback. The Brewlings, they're there to try and slow him down.
Nice
the body block from Dandy. But will it really be enough? He'll send at least Ice up into the air. But Black, he stands his ground. He just keeps running away right now. He's got enough immunity. Forced up, down. Now Dandy back out of Brewmaster form. Will be dropped down by the Skywrath ulti. And VG Gaming will enter the Na'Vi base and claim the middle ranks 100%, but how much more will they claim? Time will tell.
Yeah, they'll definitely get the top melee as well. I'm imagining they'll take that and then back off. Just play it safe here and not get too much in over their heads. Or maybe they're just going to
They're splitting. Ice will take the top, and the rest of them will move bottom lane. Super Salty's off cooldown in 4 seconds time, and he has Refresher off cooldown. So we got double BKBs, double Eye of the Storms. The buyback comes from Centaur and Super. Well, he already turns on the first Eye of the Storm. Refresher up, second Eye of the Storm. These towers are going to melt. Not to mention the heroes. Poor little Vanscore. A Grand Magus was never designed for this kind of power and wear and tear. Funnick, he tried to use a Stampede, but he is gone. They've lost the 2. The TPs are coming back in again. FNG, he melts in the lining. Avos tries to battle up against Super. It's good bouncing glaives. Black actually working against his teammates with the Malediction. There's your loser beam. Avos to pick up a double kill. They push Ice back. They need to get close towards him. 4-staff up, puts the Spirit behind him. And Fenrir is also on the run. Mystic Flare is off cooldown. The Lucent Beam trying to slow him down. In mid lane, the SK still keeping that pressure on. In fact, I think he's looking for an extra pick-off over an FNG. He won't catch it. Fenrir, a Lucent Beam. Dendy still not close enough. Blink Dagger, 2 seconds, 1 second. Then he can jump. The Stomp though, try and be in the right position, and Dendy Drunken Haze. They'll turn. The damage on Ice is plus 168 on him. Dendy the BKB into the clamp. The Eclipse as well. They'll pick up Fenrir. They need another stun, and they've got it. Ice will go down. Avos to pick up a double kill by the Epicenter. On the way in from the SK, there's nowhere near enough damage to get a kill. He'll force up away. He's sticking on the run after Avos at the moment. FY, some confidence. He's still walking around with the gem too. There's no support from his teammates. He blinks up, he's got Burrow Strike
What
again.
is this?
FY is just trying to play
split.
man mode. He goes into Invis, and they actually bait the Brewmaster split. They'll try and drag him out. This under FY, they should be able to pick up this kill. Na'Vi, they actually drag back a whole bunch of kills, and maybe enough to keep a fighting chance here. I don't know if it's really going to be enough, though. They did manage to kill off all of Vici Gaming, but the cost is great.
Yeah, who did they have to buy back in all of that? They bought back
Razor bought back, but the
Centaur, Witch
Centaur,
Doctor,
Rubik, and
Centaur, Witch Doctor. Okay, that was a really good defense. I thought the game was definitely going to end there, but Na'Vi played it very well inside their own base. They delayed the fight as much as possible for Voss to get the 2 kills he got inside the base, and then the pursuit there from Denden
Look how
was
much
really
money
good.
Voss picked up. He got a full butterfly and still has 3.8k. This guy can almost buy a Satanic.
Yeah, I don't think he should though. I think this is when you go full damage. They still.
If you're going full damage, then you're going Rapier,
Yeah,
which
I
means
think
he picks up a Relic.
Rapier or Daedalus right now would be my choice. I think if he gets Satanic, the game is over. Because the next push that's coming from Vici Gaming, the tier 3 tower bottom is really low on health. Yes, they do have Glyph, but when there's 2 Eyes of the Storm running and Super almost has a heart, then... Or does he? Oh, he only has the Vitality booster. So he's still
Voss just sold something.
2.6k health still.
How much does he fully need for a Rapier? He's at 5.3k right now.
I think he's definitely going for it. It is Voss, so...
Yeah, this is... He buys a TP scroll to come
He's
back.
at 1k off. He might be able to make this, but unfortunately the lane he's pushing top has mega melee creeps and range creeps, so there's not that much gold to be gained here.
Yeah, the primary thing would just be pushing towards the tier 2 tower and then just leaving his illusions to keep the pressure up, and he farms up the Dire Jungle. TPs himself back in, but if he's really going to go for this courier needs to be sitting on top of the secret shop, because he's going to need it quickly. Now, Roshan does go the way of Vici Gaming. This is Aegis and Cheese, Ice, the man with the cheese. The Aegis Immortal, again, it is given to the Bristleback, but this is a Bristleback with, like, he's got 31 armor. It's a lot of armor on this guy. Voss
Didn't even glyph that tower.
He took the tower. Like, why wouldn't you glyph?
That's kind of weird. This is
Maybe they weren't ready
pretty much
for it.
handing over a Rapier to him right now if he wants to buy it. 200 gold off getting the last hit on that.
He just picked something up.
What's
he just
that?
picked something up. It's a Satanic. He bought a Satanic. The recipe is a Satanic.
I do not agree with this choice. I think it's way too...
I don't think the crowd agrees either.
There's a bit of booing here.
We're back behind the stage of these guys, and we still hear them boo from this side.
I think you need to go crazy here.
Yeah,
with the Luna. There is no other way. In normal game situations, this would definitely be the right pickup. Like Satanic after Butterfly is pretty much
It's not even actually
textbook,
committing to the Satanic. It's making sure he's got enough money for a buyback.
Yeah.
Because if he was committing to the Satanic, he'd have it right now. But he doesn't. So they hold back. They're just going to try and, again, come out on top of the fight. Maybe they got enough confidence after that last engagement. They feel they can do this again. But Black, okay, there's the problem. There is a big problem. Those glaives are bouncing back and forward on the catapult, which is also amplifying the damage into the Bristleback. It is a wonderful action pose, however. But this is not where you want it to be. But yeah,
Black is slightly out of position in this fight. He is...
It's a picturesque spot. But yeah, Black is a long way away. And the rest of his teammates, they can be right behind him. In this case, it's probably to be Black turning and they staff him out. That's probably going to be what happens in this situation.
He could also go really deep here and try to hit the tier 3. I actually think that would be a pretty good idea. He can force a glyph or get the tier 3.
Well, it's the backdoor regeneration
out.
off cooldown. I know the creep. Yeah, the catapult's right there.
So he could just... I thought when he was going in, I thought he was just going to go for the tower, but he was lagging. If he wasn't lagging and was making that move, I think he would see that play and just get the tower, turn around, get forced out, and then they could siege high ground. But I guess at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter that much. If he just lives through this, they get 2 Eyes of the Storm off, which can happen really soon. Even though Super's in the top lane, he does have BOTs, so he could come down there.
All right, we're going again.
Yep.
So Black, we'll see what happens with him. And he decides just to get himself out. So there it is. Just turn 4-staff out. Super did BT himself in. So they are ready to fight this one. And again, Super's got double ulti. So again, Navi's like pressured on this bottom lane. And look at even Black's regeneration. It's not like amazing like a heart, but it's still enough to bring him back up to a dangerous point for when he goes high ground on the next creep wave. And he's keeping his stacks up. It's rather mana intensive.
Yeah.
But he wants to make
He
sure
has a
he
Shiva's
pumps us.
card. It's going to take a while to run out of mana on a Bristleback then. He could do this for
30
like
30
2
and
minutes
35.
straight.
That's it.
Almost.
Well, up he comes now. So
there
4
we
points
go.
up in that wall path, and they beat down the tower. The barrier
Oh,
strike, they got a
Horse!
Vorse. That's the big one. The refresh roll is going from Super. A Vorse will buy back. FNG stuck in the tree line, and Super just sends his ground. Double kill for him. They're attacking into the racks. Now the oldie Dendy. He's holding onto his split for the moment. They've still got this Acre Simon on the back of Black, and Vanscore and Funnick, they're still trying to fight, but in comes your Epitown from FY. They'll finish the job. Super on a triple kill. A Vorse with the dieback about to happen. There it is. The Satanic may have been completed, but the Brewmaster is the only one left alive for Na'Vi. Dendy holding the ground, but he's losing his Brewlings, he's losing his racks. The range is the only thing that stands between Vici Gaming and Mancreeps, and GG. Na'Vi will be eliminated. The first team out of ESL One, Vici Gaming, will progress themselves through into the semi-finals, and will have a very well-deserved rest for the rest of the day to come back tomorrow to play in that semi. But for now, Cinderin, we're finishing up here, and we're jumping back over the panel for their thoughts.
Thank you very much, Toby. Yes, so first Na'Vi have gone down. Their second Na'Vi team, of course, the US version, will be in action in their next match, but it is the victorious Vici Gaming that take the first quarterfinal here at ESL One New York. There was a lot of discussion going on the panel, actually, towards the end. Satanic, should he do it? Should he do it? Rapier. Yeah, it was all sorts of crazy discussions, and then it didn't really matter.
I think he should have gone for the Daedalus into the Satanic. If this game had stalled for another 10 minutes, I think that would have been the worthwhile option doing. You could see how easily he would drop as soon as the Scythe of Ice went off, so going for the Rapier would have been a mistake.
That Razor.
I mean, I agree with Sundaran's sentiment of go big or go home.
Yeah.
But in any case, I don't think Divine would have been the proper choice there.
The Razor was a big problem, though. I think they should have picked it up instead of Luna. So Na'Vi kind of outdrafted themselves.
It was kind of weird, wasn't it? Because they were actually dictating the pace of that draft early on. We said it shouldn't have been because they took Skyreth first, and therefore it was like, well, we have to react now, and they reacted brilliantly. And then it got to Luna, and you were a bit like, I don't know if that works.
The thing is that even with Rapier, Luna cannot man-fight the Razor with double ultimate, so he couldn't just fight the Razor anyway. He knew he had to dive once and then buy back. So Rapier was really not a good option in my opinion.
They played it very strange. Luna's there for early tower pushes. Panda's there for early team fight, and they didn't really do either of them.
The Midas choice from Provost was really bad in my opinion. I think it sets them really, like, they had to play from behind because the Luna had 900 HP going into the fight, so they had to wait and wait and wait, and they just got out farmed. The Midas did not matter.
Well, not only that, he was sitting there defending the mid T1.
Okay, post-match interview is ready, I'm being told, so let's go back to DJ Wheat on the main stage.
Thank you very much. I'm here with Black. Let's give a round of applause for VG. Congratulations for making it to the semifinals. I know you've got to be excited about that. You get some well-deserved rest before day two. But rewind a little bit. You guys went through the Chinese qualifiers with a great force. You ended up defeating Newbie 3-0 in the end. Did that give you guys a lot of confidence and high expectations coming into ESL One New York?
Newbie was the team to beat after TI, obviously. And we didn't expect to beat them 3-0. And like after we did, we were all really happy, really confident, and we thought that we are coming one step closer to be like the best team in China. And so we're just hoping that we can carry on the momentum here.
All right, well, one team down. You eliminate the first one from ESL One. Let's talk about after game two. You guys handily took game number one. Some interesting picks there from the Na'Vi side. And then game two, they really turned things around. Was there any concern from your guys' perspectives, even going into pick bans into game three, and what your approach was going to be versus Na'Vi?
The second game, I think we had it wasn't really a drafting issue. It was just we made 2 or 3 wrong calls in the middle lane, and that led to DP getting really, really fat early on. Right. And then we couldn't really stop her anymore, and they just pushed all of the towers. We couldn't stop them, and that pretty much snowballed. And then in game 3, we just took it from the start and from 0, calm.
Do you guys feel like you had full control of game 3? I mean, it seemed like Na'Vi was having a really hard time with any sort of initiation. You guys always had the jump on them. Did you feel confident throughout that game 3, just in the position that you guys were in and the draft that you had?
It was mostly because our offlane hero, the Elder Titan, always scouted their supports out. So we had like total freedom because we knew where they are, what we could do, and like then we just snowballed from the start because we had a really good start because of that.
All right, well, thank you very much. Congratulations once again to VG. Thank you, Black. We'll find out in just a moment who you are going to be going up against in day number 2. But let's first send it back to the T-Mobile expert desk.
Thanks very much, Wheat. Yes, so back on the desk, some interesting words in that, particularly about map 2. We already pointed out the fact that mid lane got destroyed, basically, and they kind of agreed with that. There's no real shocks in that. Overall, VG, how are you impressed by the Milk?
I think they executed the way everyone anticipated they would. Probably a bit of a shocker that Na'Vi won as handedly as they did in Game 2. But overall, I think Game 3, they just showed just how disciplined they are, how well they execute. We saw the middle fight around the 15-minute mark or so, I think, where they just got most bang for the buck in their spell usage, where they killed 3 of Na'Vi's heroes. And I really feel like that was the turning point of the game, where Vici just said, okay, we're just going to take it from here.
Yeah, Ben, there was we're going to show it, actually. There was a moment in the late game where we thought, oh, hold on, maybe, just maybe, Na'Vi might just get back into this.
It was a nice catch. They try and burst him down with the sheep, but don't have enough. He BKBs out and catches them. And I was surprised he had vision down there. I guess she does have nighttime vision, but ends up being a full team wipe. But it was too little too late. There's already 2 racks down. And
I mean, we were discussing, well, you guys were arguing, actually. It wasn't discussion at all about where they should go after that as well, because it seemed like, okay, well, there's a little bit of a turnaround here. Vos has got a ton of gold. He can go and spend on whatever he wants to do. And then there was a ton of discussion over as to which way he go. But in the end, it didn't make any difference. Do you think it would have made a difference had he done something different?
I personally don't. I feel like they got a minimal momentum game where they could have gotten a big item up on Hovost, but it wouldn't have mattered much. And what Vici could have done was just draw the game long enough. They had 4 Raxes down by that time, so they could stall long enough for Black to pick up an Abyssal Blade on the Bristleback. They could get another Scythe of Vice on one of their heroes, and from there on, there's nothing that Na'Vi could do, even with a fully stacked Luna.
We've heard a lot about the rubber banding in 6.8 and 6.82b. But you heard our good friend Black there. He said in the second game, they just snowballed. There was no rubber band effect for him. I mean, it just didn't come into play.
Well, Vici never killed them, so... Yeah. Obviously, if you don't kill them, you're never gonna get a
rubber
gold benefit. Exactly. So that was. I don't think even if they started killing them, I think it would have been a little too late. Na'Vi seemed so far ahead in Game 2 that there was really not much for Vici Gaming to do with the lineup they had.
The rubber banding isn't quite as... It's
it's
substantially less than it was in that early days of the patch. I mean, I played a lot of games where we were like, this is over.
Yeah.
And then you win one fight and you're suddenly like, why do I have 10,000 gold and why am I winning the game? Like it was... So they fixed that really well. But I mean, that was... I thought Na'Vi in the second game, like Black himself said it was that early mid where he got 2 kills.
Yeah, they're tiny.
It's amazing from that one moment.
Ruined in that mid.
Yeah.
Game 3, though, as you said, Vici were, I think you used the word disciplined in that game. Does that summarise the kind of style of play we're expecting from them tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, nothing surprising in how they've executed and played their game so far. It's just the way Vici Gaming does it. Yeah. I think the most undisciplined thing was FY trying to go for the solo kills with the Sand King near the end. But at that point in time, as I was saying, the game was probably over, and I think all of them knew that.
Would you have done anything differently for Na'Vi? I mean, you would have, obviously, from Na'Vi's point of view, but what would you have done?
I just think that Na'Vi wasn't solid enough today. I mean, they had great plays, but overall, the drafting and the decision-making was a bit... I think just think that Vici overall was the better team. It wasn't Na'Vi being completely outplayed or outdrafted. It's just not yet to the level they need to actually beat teams like Vici. But Vici wasn't that dominant, in my opinion.
Okay.
I mean, they were good, but I wasn't really impressed. I think it was a good series, but not. The 2 teams are, in my opinion, not the best teams in this tournament so far.
Okay, well, harsh words from Seb, but we'll find out whether he's right as we go into game number 2 very shortly. But first, let's go back to DJ Wheat, who's on the main stage.